write my story. You hold it all together. All right. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Eagles Launch Pad. We go again in the name of the Lord. I mean, you agree with me that in these times that we're in these changing and emerging times that we're in, you need the Lord to help you buy land. We need the Lord for everything, right? So you're welcome, everyone, and it's always a delight to be able to do this. Every time I'm called on, I find it such a great privilege. Welcome again, everyone, and today we're talking about property. All right, so we have an amazing guest here with us in person of Oluyemisi Osunsanya. Yes, Oluyemisi Osunsanya is here with us. I think she's here already. And yes, Oluyemisi Osunsanya is the owner of Emerge Realty. I mean, would I say she's the CEO? She's the Oga. She's the multi-talented, money-making woman, money-making spinner, the person who just makes this money as she pleases, you know, with land. And I'm excited that we can have her here today to help us demystify. Hi, Amoshola. I see you. Right, she's going to help us demystify this thing called real estate, you know, because these days you just hear real estate. Small conversation like this, you hear someone and they ask you, so what do you do? And they're like, I'm into real estate. And like, real estate, what's this, you know, what's this real estate about? So I believe that, you know, Oluyemisi, who's also a graduate of, who's also an Eagle, yes, you know, would be demystifying some of these conversations around, yes, around real estate. So Yemisi, could you please just go ahead to send a request? Although I think I have sent you one now. Super excited to have you join us, so we can just get right into it. And you know, we want some clarity. We need all the clarity that we can possibly get about Omo-Onile, about, you know, how you got it, how can a beginner like me get into this real estate space, right? So just give us a moment, and I think Yemisi Osunsanya will be joining us any moment. Yemisi, I hope you've gotten the request. Hi, Yemisi, are you there? So I have sent Yemisi an invite, and I'm just waiting for her to join in. All right, so I think she's gotten the invite, and yeah. Okay, fantastic. All right, so it looks great now. Hi, Yemisi, good to see you. Welcome on board.
Can you
It's
hear
always
me?
a delight. Can you? I think that you can place your camera properly because we can't really see you.
Okay. Give me a minute. All right. Gotcha.
All right, great. Okay, so it looks better now. Thank you, Yemisi. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome on board.
Good to
And
see you too.
well done. So Yemisi is one of the amazing people doing amazing stuff in the property space. A graduate of Covenant University. I mean, give it up for the Eagles. We do so many things. You have someone in interior decor. You have someone doing amazing stuff in the career space, in the food business space, in tech. I mean, name all the industries possible in the whole world, and you will not find at least one Eagle there, right? So I mean, that's just a testament of, you know, the covenants that our papa had, and how he has, you know, been able to birth so many more Eagles. So welcome, Yemisi, and
Thank
I
you
think
so
we'll
much.
just get right into it. But before we do, I love to pray, so we're just going to pray quickly and just thank God. Father, we give you praise for this time of interview. We just ask Holy Spirit that you give every one of us utterance, make it such an educative and insightful session for everyone, where we take one or two learnings to help us make wiser decisions to the glory and praise of your name. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, so Yemisi, welcome again. I think I'll just, for us to get right into it, I probably want to ask you, so tell us how you got into the real estate space, right? I mean, you're here calling numbers. I see your page and I'm like, 65 million, 100 million, 1 million, 1 billion. So do you want to tell us, you want to walk us through how you got into that real estate space? Had you, have you always been doing that or?
Okay. I've been in the industry, real estate industry, for going on 5 years now. And, how I got into it was just, I think it was just fate, really, because it wasn't my intention at all. So I had a friend, also an Eagle, that called me up and was like, there's this industry that is booming right now. I'd like you to join. I know you can do great things there. And at the time, I was still trying to figure myself out, like what I'm going to do career-wise. So I said, okay, let me just dip my toe into this and see how it goes. And before I knew it, the first sale came in, the first commission came in, and I'm like, okay, I think I can do this and do great at it. So I researched more, learned more about it, and just went heading first into everything.
Oh, wow. That's so amazing to hear. So you just, I mean, it's safe to say it just got clearer. It wasn't like you had it all figured out. You just put your
Yeah,
leg in, and
something
then
like
the money
that.
was rushing in, and then you're like, eh,
I mean, like, it's a
you see money.
no-brainer, you know.
Oh wow, that's so beautiful to hear. Commission, yes, Ty. Taiwo says commission. Who doesn't like commission? And I know the commission is not
Indeed.
small. So the moment you just see the commission, like, there's market here. Oh yeah, now, right. So I know that you have quite a number of people who are, I just really had to write out some questions that I know a number of us have concerns about, on how you can invest in real estate, no matter how small. You hear people say, okay, just invest, just make sure you set aside. You hear investments. And I think I'd like to ask you to demystify this. How can I invest in real estate?
Okay, so real estate investment is, I like to say, it's simple and complex at the same time, depending on how you want to look at it.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so it's simple when you know what you want
Right.
as far as investment. Okay, what do I want? I have this amount of money. What do I want to do with it? Do I want to invest it? Is it stock? Is it trade? Is it real estate? Okay, if it's real estate, how big do I want to go into it? So that's you having a clearer focus as to investment. But it's also a bit complex for like a first-time investor that doesn't even understand the market.
Right.
That's where we come in and put you through the simple process of getting investments. So it's not really as complex as people think. It's quite simple. You just, once you have the funds, you know that this is what you want to use the money for. It's not like you need someone to convince you into investment, because the investment is not for the person convincing you, it's for yourself.
Right.
So you need to convince yourself that that's what you want before a broker can come in to give you the right property to invest into. So you
Okay,
need
thank you for that.
to
Yes.
know what you want to do.
Okay, thank you so much for simplifying it, even if you made it a bit complex. I mean, you already said it was simple and complex at the same time. So when you say this is where you come in, right? Not everyone has that direct relationship with a property broker or has that conversation. So I mean, how do we find access to you? How do we, I mean, how do I just walk up? Do I just walk up to someone and say, okay, well, I want to invest in property. I have 10 million naira. What can you do for me? So how do you, I really want to ask how you'd advise, a beginner like me and quite a number of other people who are here and just have no clues on, okay, I know they say we should invest in land, but how do we even go about it?
Okay, so now let me put it back to you. When you want to buy a shoe or a bag, what do?
You
You look
go to the market
online.
or go,
You would
yes.
have seen it before you go into the market.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it maybe with someone, or you saw it online, and then you check it, the quality, the design, whatnot, before you now say, I want this bag, and then you go into the market to look for
Right.
it. It's almost the same with real estate. You have the funds, you know that, okay, they have been telling you to invest. It's like in your subconscious, so to speak. And then you now want to delve into it. There's this thing that will make you want to learn more, a little bit about it, is where you now get confused as to where to put it, then you now start researching for even a broker to even pick someone like me to work with you to help you invest. You have seen other realtors, seen other pages, you've seen other ways that other realtors do things, but then something stands out from me to you saying, this is the person that can get me this thing that I'm looking for.
All right.
You understand?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So pretty
it's
much,
more like
so if I hear you
a
clearly,
research
pretty much you
before
should have
buying.
funds. So are you saying that so how would you speak to, so in the case of the shoe, the shoe scenario, or the shoe case study, so to speak, in some cases I probably see a shoe and I'm like, let me just ask how much it is, right? Before you make that decision to begin to buy. But we've had
Yeah.
cases of, personally for me, I've asked how much is it, and then they tell
And
you
then you
this is
go
the
back.
amount, and then 2 or 3 months down the line you're like, okay, I think I'm ready, and then this same person says, oh, it's not the same price again. So I mean, I mean, how do you advise, okay, someone asked the question, what's the minimum anyone needs to invest in real estate? Sounds like it's for people that have big money. Yes, we'll come to Sumit's question, come to Sumit's, question, but I think it even surrounds, what we are speaking about.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I come back 3 months later and I'm like, hello, and Yemisi of Emerge Realty, I'm ready. And then Yemisi says, oh, what you have, property is going up. So I mean, sometimes it just sounds crazy and like, Lord, please, what next? So I'd like you to speak to that.
Okay. In regards to that, once you see the thing about property, it's always going up. Let's not deceive ourselves about that. It doesn't ever come down. So if you're ready to invest at that particular time, your interest is picked on it.
Right.
It will be in your favor to like try initial deposits is what we call it
Okay.
in our industry. So you secure it at that current price. Say the land is 600,000 there, and they tell you to bring 50,000 or 100,000 as initial deposit. 100,000 is something you can afford if you want to splurge on yourself. Do you understand?
Mm,
So it will now take you deciding that, okay, let me just put this 100,000 into this property that I'm seeing that they have told me after you've asked all the questions and you've done all the due diligence. So you will now say, okay, I'm using this 100K to just secure this property and
right.
have a payment plan on it. You don't have to bring the bulk amount of money that is stated before you purchase a property. That's what makes it easier.
Oh,
So you do an
oh,
initial deposit. So even though it's going up in your favor because you've already secured at the previous price. So now the
I love
appreciation
it.
coming on it is to your benefit.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for clarifying that. I believe that answers Somi's question as well. That what's the minimum anyone needs to invest in real estate? Yemisi had explained to us that starts with as little as whatever it is that you have, correct? Right, Yemisi?
Yes.
So that means, I mean, from what I heard, it means that you can start with as little as 100,000 naira,
Yes,
right? And
actually, yes.
use that as your base deposit. And then as your, as you begin to get more money, you're able to add more to it, right? And then
Yes.
eventually you
Yes.
pay off. That's such a beautiful one. I hope that for whoever asked Somi, and then Miss Hebe who asked, who is co-asking, yes, thank you for, it's always going up. Okay, fantastic. So I believe we've been able to answer Somi's question. I'll still take Taiwo's question. I see that people are really interested in this, right? And then I think that the next question will be that what are the different types of real estate investments? If I buy land, in different cases, you go to Ekpe and they say you're buying land, and then you buy a landed property, and it feels like before you even get to that landed property, you're having to travel. It feels like you're going to your father's village, and you're wondering, I don't get it. So is this supposed to be residential? And then you hear things like, Dangote is building on the left, Atlantic Hall is in the front, the next largest airport in the world is by the right. And you're like, I get you, I understand, but why do I have to buy landed property here? So I really want you to speak to what are different types of real estate investments, and what would you tell a beginner, what would you advise a beginner to start with? We know there's a residential, there's landed property, there's commercial, there's industrial. I mean, you name it. So, I mean, please speak
Okay.
to that.
Yeah. So I personally focus on three types of real estate investments. One is land, which is I categorize that into a buy and wait. We call it buy and wait property. That's a long-term investment. Like you're buying it now cheap, and with the developments coming around there, it's going to appreciate for a period of time. Are you still there?
Yes, very much, please.
Okay, I can't see you anymore. That's why.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
all right. So, and the other one is buy and build.
Right.
That's you are ready to start building on that property. So when you want to buy a property, a realtor should ask you, how soon do you want to develop that land?
Okay.
Do you understand? So that will now make them know what to recommend back to you and say, okay, you want to develop it in 10, 20 years.
Okay.
Then they take you to a
All right.
They take you to
Thank you
all
for
those
this. No, 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 guys. We need to give it up for Yemisi because most realtors hardly ever ask how long. They're just really about the money. Madam, buy this land now. See, see this place now, farm day and a village. And see what's some mirrors. You don't want to turn out surprises. So sometimes you get to these landed properties, but I think that with Emerge Realty, from what you have explained to me, I like to think that you're a different, breed, right? Considering that you still go ahead to ask your clients that how soon do you want to develop that? I think that's really noble. Please go ahead.
All right. So, if you're, like I said, if you're waiting till 10, 20 years, then we tell you, okay, buy this property is quite cheap at the moment, it's affordable. You can finish paying in 3 months, in 6 months, and you're done, and you just leave it for it to appreciate. But if you're
Right.
developing within a year or two, then we take you to them Chevron, then Shangri-La, then Agile locations
That's not
where
small money, oh, Yemisi.
no small money, though. You that you're ready to develop as well, you are ready to, shake body small. So we
Mm,
take you to such locations and tell you, okay, here within a year you can start developing, some within less than a year and some within 3 years, thereabout. So
wow.
that's for land. Now for houses, if you want to build a house and you don't have the bulk money yet to
Right.
own a home, we can offer you off-plan projects. Off-plan projects are housing projects that we are just starting to construct. So you pay your initial deposit, we secure you a unit, we start building. And by
Okay.
18 months, 12 months, 24 months, depending on the payment plan you choose and the time frame for the development, your house is ready in 18 months. And you've been paying, say, 2 million per month, as
Oh,
opposed to
great.
bringing in
The
65 million.
bulk sum. Mm,
Yes. But if you are the Odogus and you want something finished, something designed, something you just have to carry your bag and move in, then we take you to Ikate and Ikoyi's
like,
and
what is
the Lekki
money?
and
What is
the
money?
one is water.
I love it. Oh,
So
wow.
that's for the housing. So a good realtor would ask you, at Emerge, we will ask you because we don't want you to buy a property where you now in 6 months say you want to develop and we've taken you to a play. It's not
Right.
visible. So that means
Right.
we've not done our job in that sense. So at Emerge, we ask you what you want to use the property for. Now the third one, which is my personal favorite, is what I call cashback. Is
Okay.
where you don't want a land, you don't want a house, but you want to invest in real estate with as little as you have.
Mm.
With cashback, with as little as 500,000 naira, you can actually just invest, and within a year, you get your money back plus with about 35% interest. So that's
Oh.
you just rolling over money that you can play with, or you just don't, it's not enough to buy a house or a land yet. And you can roll it over maybe in a year, depending on how much you put in it. It might be enough at maturity to buy land, or you could just roll it over and earn more interest on
So
it
it's
till you're
more
ready
like you're
to,
investing a certain amount of money and then
yes,
expecting to get your
return
profit or yes, your
back,
profit back. Oh, great.
return back. And then you can roll it over as long as you can. And
Oh,
you can
wow.
even add to it, depending on how funds are coming to you, you can just add to it and keep rolling it over. If you don't want the hassle of the land or the house purchase, you can just do land banking. It's called land banking. We just help you invest it in real estate projects that we are currently running. And then as we are sharing, it will be like a shareholder with
So
us.
what's like
So we just
the timeline for banking, with on
6 months,
land?
and a year. We offer 6 months, we offer a year.
So 6 months
6 months about,
return on investment,
yeah,
correct?
6 months return on investment,
Oh, great.
about 15%, and then a year about 35%. Sometimes we do about 40%
Okay, interesting. That's 40% interest on what you
on your
invested,
capital.
right?
Yes.
Oh, amazing. So can you tell us what the minimum, what the minimum amount is to invest for things like land banking? I know we have, I mean, it's amazing that we have quite a number of questions listed out. So I just want you to answer this, and then I'll take one more before I begin to read out all the questions for you to answer.
All right. Minimum for land banking is 500,000, and you
Pere,
can do five very small money.
premium or not? What is money? Just
So you can
500,000
do as
naira.
low
Great.
as 500, or you can do as much as 2 billion if you want,
Oh,
if you have.
wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. But
And
how do you manage that? Because in the event where, yes, I know it's an organization and then you're dropping money, what's the fear of when if the person decides to jackpot tomorrow? I mean, you find all of these jokes online where they say, oh, the person who is taking a job decided to go on vacation. So, I mean, it's supposed to be a joke,
yeah,
yes, but I mean, it's not a bank
yeah, I
because
hear
you're
stories like
banking
that,
with.
and I'm
So,
like,
how do
you could
you
have put this money
deal with that?
elsewhere. Yes. So, the company that I work with to offer the land banking, I've been also in the business for like 7 years now with zero issues of to paying back. Now, the sweet thing about land banking is, should you not want your capital back, or our own insurance to you is that if we can't pay you back, we can convert it to a landed property for you.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, so in the event where
That's
you
our
can't pay back,
insurance. Yes, once, if there's any, God forbid, so far we've not had such issues, but you can even opt for it. But if our insurance to you is, if we can't pay you your cash back, then we would give you a landed property equivalent to your
to the
capital.
amount you invested. So are you saying you're
Exactly.
giving a landed property in my choice area, or you give me what is available? You take me to Ekpe because I invested
No,
only
we give
maybe
you
2 million naira.
we give you the land within our projects, within
Oh, right.
our land project or our housing project, depending on how much you put into it. So with 500K is about, there's a chart we have for the equivalent square meter that your investment covers. So the
Oh,
more
nice.
you invest, the more the square meter increases.
Oh, amazing. So that I like to think that there are contractual agreements and documentations,
Yes,
with such
definitely.
land banking
You have an
processes.
agreement, we even give you a post-dated check.
Oh, interesting.
Yes.
Okay. I think we like the sound of that. I really haven't heard land banking before. So thank you for educating us on that particular subject matter. That's, very interesting because you find that people just wonder, oh, what can I do with 500,000? I hope to, lots
Yeah.
of our viewers, you can start with as little as 500,000 and start your landed property investment journey so that, a few years from now, you become a landlord or a landlady, and everything in between. Right. Before I take all the questions that I know we have listed, I know that we have quite a number of questions. I haven't gone through them yet. But number one question, or the last question I'd like to take here would be, what are some common mistakes to avoid as a beginner? I'm just starting. You want to share a bit of, some common mistakes or tips, and yes, common mistakes to avoid as a beginner in, investments, in property investments, and a few tips or hacks, to share with such beginners as well.
Okay. Okay. Common mistakes. First of all, you can't do it by yourself. That's how you get scammed.
I love it. Mm.
You can't do it by yourself. You need someone to push you through. So, regarding a new investor that wants to buy a land, and you say, my uncle's brother's cousin somewhere is selling land, and you just send the money to them and they buy it. They don't even tell you where the land is. Or even if they tell you, they use a yardstick to say, oh, right there is the beginning of the land. And you just assume because it's family, you believe, and you don't buy land like that because it's more sensitive than that. You have to do your due diligence. You have to get the documents of that land. You have to check it and recheck it with the plan of the area, the government plan of the area, because most of the mistakes that happen with the demolition, I'm sorry to say some were caused by the owners themselves, because some just bought the land or the house without
Without
doing their due
asking
diligence,
questions.
without asking questions, without seeing evidence of the questions answered. Because I can come up to you and you ask me, "Oh, are you sure this house is good?" I'll tell you it's good because I want to collect your money. And I'll tell you to just pay. Don't worry, everything is fine. I didn't give you any evidence to show that
No
it's
C
good.
of O
No
and all of
CFO,
that.
no CFO, nothing. The CFO I even gave you, you didn't go and check it by yourself to confirm the property that they are telling you that is good. So
Wow.
some of those things are why you can't do it alone, because your broker is supposed to do all this due diligence for you, give you those documents, and still you yourself have to also go check.
And do your
So it's like a
research.
two, it will be like a two-factor authentication kind of
I
thing
love it.
before you purchase the property.
Oh
So with
wow.
that, due diligence is the foundation of real estate investing. That's just it.
Amazing. Due diligence. Thank you so much for that. So it's important to ask key questions, find evidence to the questions you have answered, right?
Yes.
Do your own due diligence. Just keep asking questions. Yorubas will
Ask
say
questions.
"Entom bere ono okinshino," right? So if
Yes,
you don't
exactly.
understand Yoruba, it simply means "Entiom bere ono kokinshino," right? All right, so it just simply means that if you don't ask for direction, if you ask for direction, you really never go wrong. So, and I believe
Yeah.
that's what we have brought, Oluyemisi this evening for lots of people who are looking to invest in real estate and just really need the right help. They need to be properly educated and armed with the information they need to make the most accurate decision. So I'll go right into the questions that we have listed. I think I'll start with Taiwo's question that says that how can working class people in Nigeria maximize using their NHF in securing properties? For those who are probably wondering what is NHF, that's the National Housing Fund. I've heard a lot about it a lot of times, but you find that getting access to it is like magic. So Yemisi, do you want to say something to that?
Um, no, not really, because I don't like to get involved in the housing scheme, the one with the government, because it's quite tricky and it's never done on life. It's never all the way straightforward.
All right. Okay. All right. So I really respect that your decision not to speak too much on that. So I think we'll go next to the next go right into the next question. Someone says, how can people in diaspora identify scams and lands with disputes? I mean, answering what Yemisi had said, I think Yemisi had answered this, but I'd still like you to speak to especially those in the diaspora, not sending your uncle or your auntie to come and help you buy property. So how can people, in diaspora identify scams and lands with disputes?
Okay. Research. Also, like I said, sometimes using for your family is good, but you need someone that is objective with your investment. That is
Mm,
not trying to cut corners or see how much they can gain from you.
right,
As a as a broker, I'm just telling you what is good, what is not good, this is right, this is not right. I don't care I know whether you have millions somewhere. I'm giving you information to help you decide better,
right,
as opposed to someone closer to you that will just tell you, hey, let's buy, let's buy, let's buy. I'll help you do it. Whether they have experience or not. Experience too is also very important for diaspora people. So if you are in the diaspora and you want to invest back home, find an experienced person that will put you through. Because if you just go with everybody will rush you. Everybody will rush you because they know that you have the money to invest. So you have to find the experience, and the person that is experienced should have the right information to give you.
right. And I like that you said just be more objective in your decision making. Like don't get too emotional, right?
Exactly. No
Okay,
sentiment.
that's
No sentiment
that's
at all.
That's really fantastic. Thank you, Yemisi. Okay, so another question I have here, which was, I mean, I had that as a personal question. I see that lots of the properties that you have on your page are, I mean, premium or nothing. Island people, island. If I open my eyes, Chevron today, Ikate tomorrow, Lekki this tomorrow, but I have my fellow sister or my brother, Meso himself, asking just like me that, excuse me, What happened to land in Arepo, in Mowe, in Korodu? Can you please kindly explain to us that can we purchase land there? Why are you not selling land to us from there?
Okay, I actually have a very good land in Ikorodu right now, selling in acres because that place, the development coming there, the plans we have for the place is going to be massive, and we can't afford. We are encouraging investors to own mini estates there
Right.
so that the development that we bring into it and the infrastructure the government is bringing there and other developments around is going to be really massive. And then Ikorodu, that is always tagged with like village, that narrative is going to change by the time we are there. So we have the property that is selling in just acres and it's very, very affordable. You would not believe how much you are buying 7 plots. And we even registered a CAC in your name for just
Oh wow.
9 million naira.
For just
9
9
million
million
naira.
naira, right?
9 million naira, you own an estate in
Oh,
Ikorodu
wow. So
right
when you
now.
say an estate, please, I want to hear that so that I know how to, start this conversation. It has to be a family
Okay.
conversation.
A
You want to
mini
highlight
estate,
that, please?
you have 7 plots in that mini estate. That's your acre, because we are giving you one free. You're buying six, but we are giving you one extra free. So that makes it seven. And with
So we're
seven,
buying six and getting one for free. I love
one
it.
free. Yes. So with one plot, you can build two semi-detached. Now imagine what you can do with seven.
So are you saying this is in like central Ikorodu, or Ikorodu also has it also has some it has Ikorodu Island and Ikorodu mainland. So please,
Okay.
you want to shed
This
more light on
Ikorodu is
this?
a bit inside because it's sharing border with Shagam.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
Imota? That Imota, the new Imota construction. Anybody that knows what's going on in Ikorodu right now would know that Imota is where their focus is now with road construction. So there's
Okay.
going to be a road network that leads through the property, the estates that we are selling, and also Caleb University, Union Bank. They were there a few weeks ago to buy hectares. So you know that
Amazing.
they are seeing what we are seeing, and there's a big plan for that area. So with that, any investor that goes there that invests in that property is gold. It's
Amazing. That's
really
quite
good.
encouraging. Thank you so much, Yemisi. Meso himself, I like to think that Yemisi has been able to address your concerns about Ikorodu. Now, someone says this land issue. How do you know you're not buying property that will not be demolished tomorrow? Somi says he doesn't like eternal surprises. The one that will make him hold his chest and say, Jesus. Apostle must hear of this. So, how do you know you're not buying property? And even, speaking about properties as well, Yemisi, I'd also like you to speak to not just properties, but even rented properties. Because you hear things like, I rented this house and I still had like one of our family friends who had experienced dropping about 5 million naira to rent a property, and then she gets in there and then they tell her it's a scam. How do you get that money back? So please, we would like to hear, both for rented properties and purchasing, a property, that it will not be demolished tomorrow and it doesn't belong to somebody else.
Okay, that's also back to due diligence. Because if you get documents and you do a search, if there's a previous owner or there's a litigation on that property, you would see it.
Well, how do you do this search, Yemisi?
We, we have contacts in Alausa, and you can also use a lawyer, a property lawyer. A property
Okay.
lawyer would dig very deep into whatever property documents you bring in for them. And they will get to the root of every property, the first owner, the second owner, to you, the current owner, before you even buy it. So getting a
All
property
right.
lawyer and also getting a realtor that would help you do the search, give you the results that you can confirm with a property lawyer.
Oh, fantastic. So if I hear you clearly, you get a property lawyer, but I probably still want to ask this question for a layman. I haven't I haven't purchased the property yet. So how are they supposed to give me the documents for me to go and do a search?
You get that's a realtor from the research you're making. A realtor that offers you a property to buy will give you the
Right.
document. You can request for it. There's no hidden thing about it. A good realtor that has nothing to hide will definitely give you any documents
So what
requested.
are these properties and what are these documents we're speaking about? You want to list them for us, maybe just
Yes,
share.
you will need the coordinates, the survey, the deed of assignment of this property. And if there's a C of O or a governor's consent document or a gazette published in Alausa, then all of these are very important for you to get,
Okay,
depending on the
so
title of the property.
oh wow. So I hear you say coordinate, survey, deed of assignment, C of O, and governor's consent are some of the
Yes.
things that a premium realtor
Please
should show you,
show
right?
you,
So
yes,
they just share with you. It's
definitely.
not like they give it to you, they just share with you,
No, they just
correct?
share it with you, yes.
Okay, that
If
this
you're buying a land, they will most likely give you the coordinates or the survey. But if you're buying a house, is when they give you the governor's consent and the deed of assignment and all of that to check.
oh, fantastic. So at least, with doing your background research, it lets you know if it's going to be demolished. But I mean, Yemisi, there
Definitely.
are times where even after they've done all the research, 3 years after or 5 years after, some some strange spirit just comes and the minister says this house is up for demolition. I mean, after your realtor has done, have you found, such situations where the realtor has done all the research possible and then next tomorrow the village people just come and say, oh yeah, Ewole, I mean, what do you
Yes, that
advise or what
that
would you have to
that
say
has
to that?
happened. That has happened before. And in this case, if your documents are intact and you are very sure of it, you've double checked it when you were buying the house and everything, then you can fight what the government is saying, or you get compensated for it.
Oh, right. Okay. I like the sound of that. Okay, Somi, I like to think that you've been able to answer that question for Somi. Someone else says, when is the best season to purchase a landed property, factoring weather conditions and economics? First off, guys, I'd really like us to, just take a moment to celebrate Yemisi Osunsanya for taking her time to just share with us everything we need to know about property investment. If you're not following her at this time, then this would be a great time for you to follow at Emerge Realty, follow and just contact her. I'm about that land banking, and I feel like by the time I read down, I feel like you have lots of questions there, about land banking, like 500K. Hey, that's on me. And Omoshola will just use this weekend to just splurge. That's what Oluyemisi said we can just use to start land banking. So Yemisi, are you there?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm here.
great. When is the best season to purchase a landed property, factoring weather conditions and economics?
Raining season, always.
I love it. I was going to say that. Thank you so much. So, I mean, rainy season
Raining
would be that it's
season,
such a good time because when it's flooding, right?
yes, yes. And when you're buying the land, you have to see it. That's where the inspection thing comes in. You have to go there. Let them take you to site. Stand on the land, know what the soil is like. Know that if there are some properties, when I started, before I had to streamline and know that I can't sell for everybody by my own integrity and reputation to protect myself. So there was a land that we were taking to at some point, and when we got to a particular point at that Ibejuleki area, they told us we either had to wear boots that rain boots up
Oh,
to our
wow.
knee or enter a canoe to get to the property. And I'm like, I can't sell this. Do you
Jump
understand?
and pass.
What I cannot even buy for myself, why would I tell anybody to buy it? It doesn't make sense. What if someone from diaspora comes and says, "Oh, I want to buy this land," and not tell them to enter canoe? It doesn't make any sense. So I realized some developers or some property owners are just after selling, selling, selling. We've had cases of overselling an estate where you bought 100 plots from the family and you've done your property, but because of the traffic you got, you now oversold to 200 plots that you don't have. So
Wow.
you now start begging and trying to relocate them to somewhere else, trying to buy another land. We've had several cases of things like this over the years that I've been in this business. So
Oh,
I've
wow.
seen a lot, I've read a lot. But so it has made me know that to get a good property for an investor, you yourself have to be able to buy into it. I have a couple of plots there, and I have a couple of plots along the Bejuleki expressway as well. So before I could buy all of those things, it's something I can recommend to someone and say, even me, I have plots here. So I can't sell you what is not good.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Okay, so I'm reading the comments right now. Thank you so much, Yemisi, for shedding so much light on this, and particularly, shedding so much light on your values. I like that you hold your values so dearly, which is integrity. If you cannot buy it, then you cannot sell it. That should be your tagline, please. You need to consult me. If we can't buy it, we cannot sell it.
You can't sell
Right.
it.
So thank you so much for that. Someone says, how secured is this land banking? Because different groups have shown them shaggy. I think I'd also tie it to, I'd also tie it to someone who is asking a question on, yes, okay, yes, great. So I think I'll just go ahead and ask that question. Who is saying that, how bankable is land banking? Let me use it. How bankable is it? But I think that Yemisi responded to that, in the event where, they give you post-dated checks,
Checks.
in the event where they
A bit
can
of
pay back,
assignment
which has
agreement.
barely never
Yes.
happened. There's a landed property for you that they can allocate to you, right? Based on
Yes.
the projects that they are working on. All right. Thank you
Yes.
so much for that, Yemisi. At least I tried. You see, so now please,
Yes.
guys, you
You
can
see,
you can consult
you don't
me.
sound it or finish.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'll take another question. Omoshola asks, is there a public register that has a list of lands with disputes? I think Yemisi also answered that and said, there are
There
coordinates
is.
and
There
there are,
is. Once you
things that are
put in the
published.
coordinates, yes.
Yes.
Once you put in the coordinates at Alausa, they will print out, they will give you all the details about the property. So if there's a dispute on it, you would know.
So Yemisi, I know that this is probably not something that we hear all the time, but are you saying that I'll just walk into a house and I don't have to pay a token to be able
Ah,
to,
you
uncover these
see,
coordinates?
we are in Nigeria, so I cannot guarantee that.
That you
So
will
you
not
have
pay a
to,
token. All right. Thank
you
you so
will
much for
definitely pay
shedding
something.
so
Yes.
much light. So someone else says that this 9 million that you're speaking about for a Kurudu, is it only land? Because something is telling me that somebody just has one money that he just wants to use
Yes.
to buy
Once you say it,
landed
it's an
property. They're just
now.
doing it as giveaway. So is it only land, and would he still have to pay like an extra? Are there still some hidden costs to develop it?
No, it's only land. It's land, and it's an all-inclusive price. So
Oh,
all your
wow.
deeds and everything is included. Yes.
Okay, but then you get to spend extra money to develop.
As at the point of development, that would now be a conversation we have with you as owners.
All right. But then do they do all of the fencing and you know
Yes, the company is responsible for the perimeter fencing, for the drainages, for the road network. We will provide all of that.
oh wow. All right. I think this is a lot more, this is a lot of clarity for us at this time. Another question. Thank you so much, MEC. I mean, this is such an eye opener for us. It makes real estate seem you have simplified it and let us know that anything is possible. Right. So someone
Absolutely.
says flat versus house. Is flat advisable? Some wants to, some is in the diaspora. So this man
Yes,
has to
no,
secure,
that's why I
he
called
needs
him
to secure
Odogu.
the
He's the only
future
one that
here in
can select
Nigeria.
it.
Any
He has
disadvantages
some
with
euros
flats?
or pounds to drop. Okay, yes. Um, let me see. Sorry, let
Yeah,
me.
so the question is flat versus house. Is flat
Okay, yes.
advisable? Any
Thank you.
disadvantages with flat, or is just as profitable?
For flats is more profitable. Flats are more profitable because you have options of renting and re-renting. But imagine if you own a semi-detached or a fully detached house, not everybody is running to rent a fully detached house. Even the cost of it might not allow them. But a flat, if you have multiple flats, then you're earning in multiple ways. You understand? And if even if it's a terrace with a BQ, there are certain people that are looking for that, but the average renter
Nigerian?
so to speak, yes, is looking for a flat. So a flat is more profitable to you. Also, if you have a flat, it's easier for you to do a short let that is way more profitable for any investor.
Oh wow, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for that. Okay, Amoshola says there's Ikorodu close to Lagos, the one close to Ogun State, and the one close to Atlantic Ocean. Yemisi sort of addressed that already. I think she said something around, there's Ikorodu close to
Water.
Paris. Guys, please, you're distracting us right now. What is this? Please, there's Ikorodu. So which of the Ikorodu? And I think that, Yemisi touched on that about, um that particular area of Ikorodu that is close to some water place,
No,
right?
it's close to, is sharing borders with Shagam.
Take that again. It's sharing
There's the part of Ikorodu, Imota,
borders with where?
with Shagam.
Oh, right. Okay, so
Yeah. It's
I
called
think that
Imota.
okay, it's called Imota. Omoshola, I
Imota,
believe that
Ikorodu. Yeah.
explains it for you. It's called Imota if you're considering, for whoever is listening who is considering, getting a property in Ikorodu, not the one close to Paris, not the one close to Atlantic Ocean, not the Pacific. This is the one close to Imota. It is sharing a border with Shagamu. So on different occasions, you can decide to be in Ikorodu today, and then you go and have a picnic in Shagamu tomorrow, and then next tomorrow you're going to Abeokuta, so you're sharing borders, with such
Um,
areas. But
and it's good for movement.
Yemisi,
It's very, very good for movement.
pardon?
I said it's good for movement if you're a traveler that you go interstate. Having a place there, you can just, you're off to Shagam, off to Ogun State, off back to Lagos, it's quite central.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yemisi. I know that, okay, so someone says thanks for the clarity. I just have a few more questions, and someone says, how is investment protected? Are there insurance companies that you are affiliated with? I think that's one question I'd like you to, speak to, Yemisi.
Yes, there are some insurance companies we're affiliated with. ICO, for one, we're with them. One of the companies I work with are registered with them. And the land banking tool is insured with an insurance company as well. All that information I will share on my page.
Wow.
So if you're not following me, you won't see it.
Fantastic. All right, guys. So I think this is a good time for us to engage further with Yemisi. Yemisi seems like our go-to person. Not seems. Yemisi is the go-to person if you're looking to, invest in landed property. I honestly do not know why. So you have people who saying they want to invest in Otta, so they can be smelling the aroma of Hebron every now and again, and sitting
Maybe they
next
want
to
to go and get
Papa.
peppered rice. They want to be closer to peppered rice.
Not like they want to just be closer to just so do you have any thoughts on Otta? Someone also asked about Ibadan,
Yeah.
right? So can you just
Um,
say one or two things about that?
Currently, I would advise an investor to go where the development is going. It's not
I
just
love
like
it.
buying land.
Mm,
So right now, development is in Ekpe, is in Ibadan. It's not currently in Ota. It's in Ikorodu and it's in Abuja. Those are the
wow.
locations where development is really happening right now. So if I'm advising anyone to invest, I will bring you to Lagos, Abuja, um, Ikorodu, Ibadan, and some
Fantastic.
parts in the east, which we are still in the process of vetting. But once I'm done with my due diligence on it, then I can bring it to the market.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yemisi. It's been such, it's been such, an insightful session with you. One of the key takeaways for me would, if you cannot buy it, you would really not sell it. And that's a testament to the fact that, okay, yes, I can actually trust Yemisi with my funds and not fear that, she's gonna jackpot or she's gonna, leave here or anything of
No
that
such
sort.
thing.
And the last one key thing that I took away is go where the development is. Right? Yemisi has emphasized on that. Go where the development is. Don't go where you don't know anybody. Taiwo, I don't know what you're going to do in Onitsha or Nnewi or
Don't worry, Taiwo
yeah.
can get something. I can get something for Taiwo in Abia, Enugu, and Asaba currently that he
Oh,
would
okay. I like
be
the
happy
sound of that.
about.
Abia, that's where I'm from. So
Oh,
something
okay.
tells me that, yes, we have such beautiful, acres of land, such beautiful greenery around there, even if it's sometimes bushy, but,
We
that's
are
so
coming. We
great.
are coming there gradually. We're coming.
Thank you so much, Yemisi. So, to someone who is listening, right, Yemisi, do you have any, keywords that you just want to use to encourage such beginner who's having fears and reservations about, investing in real estate?
Don't be afraid of investments. Do not be afraid, and let it be number one in everything you're doing. Investment first, because in as much as you're the one buying it, it's really not for you, it's for generations to come.
Wow, amazing. Wow. So we shouldn't think of now, we should think of the future. Thank you so
Exactly.
much, Yemisi. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a joy, having Yemisi Osunsanya, the money-making spinner, the woman who just, anything she touches is gold. You want to buy houses, you want to buy properties, she's right there for you. All right, so before we call this off, I would like to ask Yemisi, so what are some of the services that you offer, like Somi has asked here, and how can we reach you? Yes, how can we reach you?
Okay. I can get you lands, premium lands, affordable lands, expensive lands, depending on where you want it, houses all over Nigeria. And for the diaspora, even if you want something out of Nigeria, I'm your person. And land banking too, insurance, you're covered. With me, I
Insurance
can
cover
get
you.
you insurance cover you. And you can reach me on WhatsApp, 070-311-29475. You can check my page or send me a DM. My number is all over my post, so I'm very, very available 247.
And she's very accessible 247. Thank you so much. Yes, land banking is a service, guys. That's something I learned
Yes,
newly today.
yes.
So thank you so much, Yemisi. We truly appreciate your time and we wish you all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Emerge Realty, right? And it's Yemisi Osunsanya, a dear eagle from what set again, Yemisi, please?
Renaissance 2013.
2013, the Renaissance set. So, I mean, this is Yemisi, guys. She's right here. So, if you have any challenges or you have any concerns whenever you buy a landed property, we know where to find her. Okay, so I mean, if you're thinking properties, if you're thinking rent, if you're thinking landed, anything property, I think Yemisi is our go to person. Thank you so much, Yemisi. It's been such joy to have you here. I think Taiwo has his parting words. Are you training or equipping people into real estate? Right? That was a question I was going to ask, right? But I'm happy that Taiwo is asking it, right? That do you, are you training or equipping
Absolutely.
people into
Yes,
real
I
estate?
recruit. Yes, I recruit and train people in real estate. I have when every Wednesday, every 2 Wednesdays in the month where I gather recruits to train them, and we have tours organized by me and the companies I work with, the brokerage firm I work with, to take new realtors to site. So yes, if you're interested in joining real estate, I can get you sorted and settled.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yemisi. And okay, right. I think the last question before we wrap this up will be, how do you determine the value of a property? Right. I mean, yes, you've told us it's 65 million, but how are you so sure it's going to appreciate, in the next couple of years? How do you determine the value of a property?
If it's a land, with the way the development happens, is the infrastructure that gets on that land, because from inset it's just grass. By the time we do clearing, we start the perimeter fencing, we start grading, sand filling, whatnot. We are spending money and the property is developing. So that appreciates the land. And if it's house as well, the more we build, as we are building, we all know that the cost of construction is not stable. So if, as when I started construction, my cost production or cost is about 1 million per day, and by 3 months after or 6 months after, that million turns to 3 million, my price of that house will not remain the same as well. So all
Right.
those things inflation determines how the cost of the property goes. And then at finishing, if it's a house, if you want all these slides, if it's a, you know how
Those
Ikate,
premium
Lekki Phase
houses.
1, yes, luxury houses, it's money, importation costs, all those things influence the the price of the property. So
Wow.
that's how we determine. The more we develop, the more it's good. The more we put into it, is the more the property appreciates.
So even for 65 million naira worth of properties, some of these luxury and premium properties that you always show us. Yeah, Missy does not have any of that. She doesn't have basic property on her page,
That's not
right? So you're saying
true.
that
That's not true. I do have lesser properties. Don't worry. Don't let us scare you. Anything within budget that you have that you want to buy, I can get it for you. Don't worry about that.
oh wow, I like that. I particularly like what you said, guys. I mean, you've heard it all from Yemisi. Anything within your budget, she's able to work with it, right? And then when we say budget, let the spirit of God nudge you. Please don't,
Use your
you
church
know what we
mind.
mean, right? So, she's able to work with you depending on whatever budget it is that you have. And to be honest, it's been such an insightful session for me particularly. And I think that I have so much that I can take with me. For anyone who probably has more questions, yes, please. Thank you, Somi, for choosing to go into her DM. Please run into her DM, ask her all the possible questions you might have. And of course, you want to pool resources with your colleagues and about land banking. Yes, I know someone asked a question about land banking. If you
Yes,
could pool resources with
absolutely.
your colleagues to do that, I think that Yemisi would be
You can
happy
even
to
come
share that.
together to buy land. I have
Yes.
colleagues that came together to buy land with. We co-own the land. So it depends on the relationship you have with the person. So you can come together to invest in a land or an apartment used for rental where you share the profits.
Wow,
Or you can also come
amazing.
together for land banking as well.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Yemisi. You'd find that a number of us will be in your DM any moment now. Some
I
of us will
expect.
probably come in maybe 2 days after or 2 weeks after because we're still trying to make a decision on whether or not we should
No
buy or
problem.
not. Right? So
I'm
thank you so much,
available.
Yemisi, for demystifying all our fears and concerns about Omo-Onile. I think that was the last question. I can't let you go. About Omo-Onile, yes, please speak to that because you have this thing about Omo-Onile and I mean, you've done all the research possible, and then Omo-Onile just comes and says, "Baba, baba, 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 wa lo nile yi," right?
Okay. With Omo-Onile, you need to buy. I would advise. It's advisable to just get an estate land because these companies have gone to the Omo-Onile. They've bought the
And
land
sorted
from
them.
them and sorted them. It is clean and clear off Omo-Onile. So you
Oh,
even don't have to worry about that. But if you
oh
go
wow.
directly to them, is when they can trick you and say, "Oh, is my brother that was allowed to sell it? My younger brother was not allowed to sell it, but it's my younger brother you gave money. So if you want to buy it, you have to rebuy it from our elder brother." It happens. We've seen situations like that before. But if you are going through estate land, company properties, it's much safer and cleaner because they've already done all of that. Some of them have even gone as far as perfecting the documents they got from the families. So if they got maybe say a registered survey from the family as a title or as a document, then the companies have upgraded it to maybe an excision or a governor's consent or even a C of O at the end of the day. So it's much safer for an investor and much cleaner, stress-free.
Wow, thank you so much, Yemisi. It's been such a joy to have you here. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings us to the end of this amazing edition of the Eagles Launch Pad, guys. Thank you all so much for taking time to be here tonight. And if you have any more questions about property and investment, Yemisi of Emerge Realty is your go-to. Remy is asking a question. Is there any app for buying land? Remy, just run into Emerge Realty. Yemisi has all the details that you possibly need. All right. And we believe that, this year, miracle and good news. Landed property will be following us left, right, and
I
center in the name
expect
of
to
Jesus.
sell land to every eagle in that has ever graduated from CUT.
Amen. Oh, that's such an ambitious goal and prayer. And the Lord, will bring it to pass. Thank you so much, Yemisi, for your time. We truly
Thank you
appreciate you. And
so much
definitely
for
we'll
having
all
me.
keep in touch. God bless
Thank you
you
so
all
much.
and have a beautiful night.
Good
Good
night.
night.